Welcome to the morning show. I'm Jillian Oxley, and I'm here today with a very special guest, Colette BaronReid. She's the author of this new amazing book, Remembering the Future, The Path to Recovering Intuition. It's an incredibly inspiring book. First, let me tell you a little bit about this woman. She's an internationally renowned intuitive counselor, motivational speaker, seminar leader, educator. She's also the critically acclaimed music artist and producer on the EMI music label and has a best-selling meditation CD, Journey Through the Chakras. As well, she's an intuitive through word of mouth only with clients spanning 29 countries around the world. She's been written up in multiple outlets, including the international fashion magazine W. She's now signed the leader in self-help and inspirational book publishers Hay House and is touring as the lead and presenter to world-famous psychic and best-selling author Sylvia Browne in 27 cities across North America in 2007. And least we not forget, she also has a hugely popular internet radio show where she does readings on air for callers. You can listen into that on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And she's also going to be a regular guest on a few U.S. terrestrial radio shows as well in Chicago and L.A. Colette, tell me, how do you find time to breathe?
I know myself. I can't believe it. I just listen to that whole list and I get exhausted.
I am not surprised.
But I've managed to get engaged, married, get a new dog, all in the past few months, and start my next book.
Isn't that amazing? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Speaking of your book, I actually had the privilege of reading it before it went to print, and I've also had a reading with you. And I've got to tell you, it was a mind-boggling experience. All the things you knew about me, my family, my friends, my future. How do you do it?
Well, it's a big, long story, but I can tell you a little bit about how sixth sensory reality works. So if you imagine that everybody has a sixth sense, right? So mine is maybe a little bit more extreme than somebody else's. So like we all run, we can all walk, but not all of us are going to run the Olympics, right? So I'm kind of like the Olympic runner of intuition, if I may.
Okay.
So people access intuitive information from a non-local reality. And let me explain that. So the five sensory reality, which we all know, which is our taste, touch, smell, what else? Taste, touch, smell, wait a second.
We're missing one.
It's two. Sight.
Sight, yes,
and
important.
hearing.
Yes, okay.
How do you like me so far? Anyway, and then we have our intellectual and our emotional life. So that all kind of, in my book, I talk about it as being a bubble called me. Anything that we define ourselves as me, which is separate from you, me and you, right?
Okay.
But then there's a sixth sense. So that sixth sense tunes us into a whole other reality that's going on all the time. So sixth sensory reality is where I get all that information from. All of that stuff's available to me. So when I tune in and I receive, it's like I have a little radio, right? So I kind of tune the dial to Jillian Oxley when I sit with you, and kaboom, all this information comes in.
Well, and I'm sure you have a lot of clients that come back to you and thank you for giving them a path.
Well, I don't give people a path, I illuminate the path that they have in front of them. And that's when we talked earlier about destiny and fate.
Yeah.
The road or the path that they are traveling on is what I see. Each person is given, I believe, a map of the potential reality based on from the time that they're born until the time that they die. And then in that map, there are roads and there are ditches they can fall in, and everything then is based on their choices and what they manifest for themselves on that particular path. All I do is shed a big light on it and put up a giant mirror for them, and I have an objective point of view. I can show them what's going on, and for me, it's not just about a passive observation of their life. I don't let anybody walk away and go, okay, that's just the way it's going to be, because I think that's harmful. I show them, these are your options, these are your opportunities, these are the choices that you can be making, and this is the result of your choices and the path up to this point, and how you'll intersect with other people that I also will tap into somehow during the session.
Colette, I know I've personally been to see you several times, and you do have repeat customers. Obviously, you've got clients in 29 countries around the world. Is there ever a little feeling of abuse or, psychic junkies, oracle junkies, people that want you on retainer?
Let me tell you something. I don't do that. I am so against people becoming dependent on this service as a means to escape their personal responsibility for their lives. Yes, I actually talked about that on my radio show, and I call it oracle abuse. Because you can get so hooked on this too, and I really feel like you have to be responsible to the client. My job is just to show them what's there, not to make them come back to me every month or for every question that they needed, what's going to happen next. That completely gives away their power to a reading, and I think that's completely harmful. No way can people put me on retainer. Impossible.
Well, good to know. What would you say would be the average? Somebody should come to you for a reading once every 18 months or 2 years, or when they feel they need it?
I've never solicited a client for reading. So that's actually a question that if somebody were to ask me, I say I can't answer that question for you, because you can come back basically when you want, but you're not allowed to come back more than twice a year. So you're not allowed to come back more than twice a year.
Right.
And half the time too, people turn to intuitives or psychics for readings when they really should be going to see a therapist.
Interesting.
So it's good to come to us, but then allow the life to keep moving along and do the things that you have to do, do the next right thing, and see how your reality starts to play out like a story.
This has been the most incredible conversation, Colette. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure.
But unfortunately, we're at the end of all of our time, so we're going to have to sign off now. Make sure you pick up this book, Remembering the Future by Colette BaronReid. It is truly inspirational and has certainly changed my life. Colette, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It has been a busy, busy time for you. I can't imagine there's much more coming up, but tell us, what's next on the slate?
I'm already working on my next book called Intentional Wealth. Yep, and there's going to be more, and one day I'll figure out how to sleep.
Great. Well, good luck to you. My personal prediction for you is nothing but success, and I wish you the best. And I'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Jillian.
Until then, I'm Jillian Oxley. Thanks for joining us today.